Hey folks, Bob here. Got something I want to show you. You haven't seen this car yet, those of you that follow my channel and some of the other social media sites. Maybe some of the other social media sites you've seen it, but this car here is a this is my car. It belongs to me. It's a 1978 Dodge Diplomat. They actually made quite a few of these. You can get them in 4 doors and 2 doors, and I guess like a wagon. And it's an M body, similar to a Volare Aspen, which is an F body, similar, and also the J body Murata and the small Cordova, and this Imperial. This was also a J body. Imperial's not mine, by the way. Okay, back on my Diplomat. This is my pride and joy. This is of all the cars I've got, and I've got a 66 Charger, 69 Sport Satellite, 66 Barracuda, 77 Fury drag car, 64 Barracuda drag car, 66 Valiant Gasser project, and a 72 Scamp project, drag car project. Of all my cars though, this is my baby right here. And like an idiot, I have neglected this car. I have owned this car. This is 2021. I have owned this car. Oh my God, I bet I have owned this car 12 years, maybe a little longer than that. But car, just you'll see the header picture that I'll post with this video. You'll see the car right after I bought it, how good a shape it was. It was running and driving, but it had a rod knock. And I put a set of big old tires on the back because I'm kind of a hot rod at heart. But this car's got a really good body. And that it had a couple small spots in the floor, and I had those fixed. And it had a bench seat, and I took the bench seat out and put Volare buckets in it. And I did the proper bracing and all. It's just like it left the factory. It's got the bracing in the floor, welded into the floor. Now it's been sitting under the carport, I guess 12 years. And I got to fix this. I've got this lens, but I got to find this one. And I've gathered some parts for it. Now it's a 318 904. I think it's actually a 998. It's got that lock-up converter deal in it. But it's dirty. The vinyl top, I peeled it off. It started cracking. I saw the cat sitting on top of it one day clawing it. And I said, well, that's it. He's going to just rip it off. And he did. He clawed it enough. And I love my animals, but I got to address this top again. It looks like I've already fixed it once, but when they sit, you know, these cars sit and they get messed up again. But I know I'm off subject here, but doors and all close on it really good. A little pour 15 on this for surface rust reasons. And it's 318 automatic air conditioned car. That's really about it. It's got power steering, power brakes, power disc brakes on the front. Good solid quarters. It's got a little bit of I think in the trunk, under the trunk here. Let me see if I can open that up for you. If I can find a key. Keys in my pocket. I'll give you a little look at that. No, this car is not for sale. It never will be for sale. And I'll get into more about that later. So I've got some spare parts in here, but a little bit of rot. I put the pour 15 on it. You see a hole right here. Unless I come across a really good deck lid, I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just put some epoxy in there and let it ride. It's not that bad. It's not got any worse. And I had some surface rust in the gutter, trunk gutter, so I treated that with pour 15 to protect that. But big block windage tray, that don't go with this car. I think that's a cast crank big block harmonic balancer, but just different stuff. But anyway, there's a story that goes with this car. It's 2 stories, I guess you could say. I was in high school in 1978. My first year in high school. These cars came out, and I loved them from day one. I wanted one. And you know, high school kid, wasn't making any money. The little small town I lived in had teenage unemployment was about 80%. It was terrible. I'm exaggerating, but it was pretty high. And if you found a job, it didn't pay squat. It barely could buy the gas. You needed your parents to subsidize you. And you know, I'm not from a wealthy family, so It won't happen. So never could get one, and I always wanted one. There was a kid in high school that had a Magnum. Another thing, I wanted a white or a blue one. I kind of preferred a white one with a blue interior. I just loved it. I loved that white with blue. There was a kid in high school also, I think his name was Jeff. I can't remember his name, but he had a Magnum, 78 Magnum. I think his car was a 360 car. It was white with a blue vinyl top. And he didn't drive it but a year. I don't know if he traded it on something else or what, but I don't remember what he got after the Magnum, to be honest with you. But anyway, so I've always wanted one of these cars, and here's how I ended up with this one. I guess in 2002 or 3. You know what? It was probably 2002. A co-worker told me about a car. I was telling him that I always wanted one of these Diplomats, and I always wanted a white one, the blue interior. He said, well, there's one for sale sitting in the guy's front yard, and they told me where the town was. It was about an hour away from where I was staying. So one day, it was raining, miserable, kind of a wintry day, didn't have anything to do, and I said, well, I'm going to ride over there. It was just about a week or so after he had told me this. So I rode over there, and to where he didn't give me the address, but he told me what road to go. He said, drive down that road and you'll see it. And sure enough, I saw it. I found it. So I pulled up, and it was sitting right in the front yard. And I went up, knocked on the door, and talked to the guy, and he wanted $1,500 for it. And I thought, well, that sounds like a good price. The car leg's in good shape. And he said it run and drove fine. So he went and got me the keys, and I went out and started up. It was probably 40 degrees and drizzling, light drizzle rain. Not great conditions to be test driving the car. And you know, these Chryslers, this era with the lean burn, that wasn't the kind of weather that they really excelled in. You know, just hard getting it to start, hard keeping it running. But I finally got it to start, and when it started up, it didn't run long, and the oil pressure light started flickering. Every once in a while it flickered. And as I sat there and let it run, I was walking around the car looking at it, talking to the guy, and I noticed that the oil pressure light started flicking a little harder. And then I started hearing a little rattling in the lifters. And I knew then what was wrong. I said, well, this car's got a bad oil pump, or it's really low on oil, and I'd already checked the oil and it was full. So kept talking with the guy, and I mentioned that to him. I said, well, this thing's starting to make a little noise, engine noise, and the oil pressure lights come on. But this numbskull told me, he really told me this. He said, that's nothing but the oil pressure sending unit. He said, put an oil pressure sending unit on it and you'll be good to go. He said, $5 and you're good to go. Well, I knew that wasn't the case. I said, sir, you can take the oil pressure sending unit off, throw it in the woods, and that's not going to fix this car. It's got nothing to do with the engine noise. Well, as we sat there and talked, the lifters got louder and louder. He said, take it for a ride, take it for a ride. He said, you'll love it, you'll love it. And I said, I don't want to take it. I said, that oil pump might lock up. I said, I don't want to do that. He said, go ahead and take it. He said, don't worry about it. So reluctantly, I took it for a road test, and got down the road. Transmission actually shifted okay. It actually seemed to run fair. It bogged a little bit like those lean burn cars would do on cold days. It had a little hesitation when I first pulled out. And I was going down the road, and the oil pressure light came on solid. And then it's making a little terrible. It sounded like all 16 lifters were rattling. So I didn't get a mile from the guy's house. I said, I have got to take this car back. I'm going to hurt the engine. And I really would like to buy the car. So I turned around, brought it back, pulled up in his driveway. He's sitting there, a big smile on his face. He's confident he's got the car sold. And I said, sir, I said, listen to this. And I said, it's just, it's gotten worse. I said, all 16 lifters, I said, it's starting to affect the way it runs. I said, it really don't have any power anymore. It's not getting any oil to the lifters. And he assured me, and I guess, you know, people think they see a young kid come up. Well, I guess I wasn't that young then. I was probably in my late 30s. I guess he thought he could fool me, but he didn't know who he was dealing with. And didn't want to get into a big argument. So I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make you an offer, just like it sits. And I offered him $700, and he quickly turned me down. And this is one of the few times in my life I made a wise decision. I walked away, folks. I walked away from a dream car. Yeah, I know, you're laughing. It's my dream car, but trust me. Another thing, cars are generalized in how people, what area they're raised up in. Anyway, to make a long story short, I guess this was probably 2001 or so. I guess about 5 or 6, somewhere along in there. I'm on Craigslist, and I see a car pop up in another little small town not too far from where I live, and it's a 78 Dodge Diplomat, white with blue interior. The engine needs oil pressure sending unit, otherwise it's good to go. So I called the guy up, and it was a young kid. He answered the phone. He wanted $400 for the car. And I said, did you buy that car from a guy? And I named the town. He said, yeah, I sure did. I said, okay. And I said, I looked at the car a couple years ago. I decided not to buy it. So I went and got my trailer, and I drove over to this kid's house. And he couldn't get it to start. And I said, well, don't worry about it. I said, I know what's wrong. I said, it needs to have an engine put in it. Oh, no, the guy told me it just needs an oil sending unit. I said, well, he said, I put one in it, but I must have put the wrong one. It didn't fix it. I said, no, sir. I said, you got screwed. He told me he paid $1,500. So I went on and paid him the $400 asking price for the car, which is really what it was worth with a bad motor. Brought it home, and life got in the way, folks. Life got in the way. I ended up starting my own business, and some other things happened in my life, and it just next thing I know, the car had sat. So it sat. I built a carport, parked it under the carport. So here we are, 2021, and I am going to try. I'm going to yank the motor out. I'm probably going to put a 360 in it. Nothing's going to be done to this car that can't be undone. Probably going to put 8 3/4 in with 355 or 373 gears. And I've always wanted to do a hot rod power tour car, and this to me would be that car. It's a comfortable car. It's roomy. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4", 250. You know, this is about as small of a car as I want to travel in. So that's where we're at with the car. I'm going to try to start working on it some. I know it's dirty. Other than a few little spots here and there, the body is really good. So I'm going to pull the motor out, probably store the motor somewhere. I don't know if these cars will ever be worth anything, but to me it'll be worth a lot. Get a warmed over 360 in it, and a nice little performance rear end in it, some good wheels and tires, and enjoy the car. That's what I'm going to do with it, folks. So maybe take it to the strip, play with it a little bit at the strip. But so there you have it. Now back on cars, one thing I've noticed, people seem to like the cars that came along in their generation when they were in high school. Now there's exceptions to that rule. You don't see a lot of 16-year-old kids that are craving for 32 Fords or 57 Chevys. They're more into Hondas, and you know, my generation, we came along in what I like to call the disco era of cars. Mid to late 70s. A lot of folks call that the malaise era. I don't know if I like the term malaise, because other than the lack of horsepower, the cars weren't that bad. They were very comfortable cars. They came with a lot of creature comforts. They had pretty good styling, other than a lot of folks didn't like the big bumpers, but that was a safety feature. If you ever been in an accident, and I have, you'll like some of the safety features. Trust me. You can die like a real man if you want to, or you can live like a smart man. So that's up to you. But I've had cars from all generations, and but this is my baby right here, and I wanted to introduce it to you on the channel. So don't want to make a super long video, but you've seen it. So as I do some things to it, I'll of course I'll post some more on it. And yes, I'll reupholster the seats to match the interior. Don't worry about that. We'll get that taken care of. All right, folks, Bob out.